people. Turn that down a little bit. Anyway. I had to restart Unity because I plugged in my phone and Unity crapped the bed when I did that. Oh. Shoot. So I need to look at this. Find objects of type. Okay. A second, I gotta fix something. Let me so probably this might take a minute, but sadly, I don't actually know what it is that's causing this problem. I won't worry about it. I'll just come back to it later. It's probably not loud enough to bug anybody on stream anyway. Anyway, so what I want to do is profile the solution finder to see what is going on. Let me try a deep profile. Can I like dock the profiler? Okay, I guess I can. Might be better to dock it down here though. So I can look at it here. Okay. Okay, so that definitely creates a spike. It's a lot better to have its own window just because I need to see what's going on. Definitely created a spike here. I'm just not sure. Okay. guess we'll put it into the editor then. And then, now I do need to dock it. So I can head to this. And then stop recording that. Spends a lot of time drawing the profiler window, doesn't it? Okay. Okay, so it definitely like does that. Feels like the reset to the starting state actually takes longer. Oops. Does that still run? Okay, it still runs. Oh my gosh, there's so many frames. Stop recording. Okay. The thing that weirded me out is why does this happen over like this many editor frames? Why does that happen over so many editor frames? And so much of this is just like GUI stuff. It's just like GUI repainting. It's like no wonder their GUI's so slow. Because their call stack is this damn deep. Excuse me. So here's all my GUI stuff that's like just calling through and making the GUI, I guess. But what about the thing that's like actually calling the functions on the buttons? We gotta figure out what's going on with that. I feel like I'm just not... I'm like not seeing the thing that I would expect to see here. Like, it's just weird. I'm just wondering, like, what is going on? I get like way more stuff, it seems like, from the profiler than I do from the game right now. But the weird thing is that I would expect, because that like halts the fucking frame. Like, if there's some way to like scroll back, then I don't know what it is. So but for example, if I do like this, then this should take a while, right? So even though, like, I see a several, like, this freezes, like, past a certain point that just freezes, and it will like take an indefinite amount of time to return. And yet, when I look at the profiler, I don't see that time. Like, where is that time? Okay, so there's some time in the profiler. The weird thing is that, like, I've got 45 megabytes of garbage collection allocation, so that leads me to believe that the real problem with it might be the garbage that I'm producing using the recursion. Like, I think that I may just be spewing out a lot of garbage, but I want to see where it is. It would help if the profiler would like respond to me right now, but it doesn't want to, so feels like streaming a little bit early. People didn't really come in. Like, it doesn't seem like I can look at this in the detail that I want to because it's too much, but it seems like it's the garbage collection really that's the problem. But I would like to be able to see this. I don't know if it's doing something or what's happening. I have no idea. Like, I have no indication of anything going on right now. So that's great. It's definitely not CPU bound, it doesn't seem like, because my computer is still working fine. It's just literally the garbage collector is eating it. Man, that's really loud. Let me turn that down. Let me turn that down here. Oh, now it doesn't like me. Now Chrome doesn't like me. I blame the profiler. It's all your fault, profiler. That down. Actually, don't like this that much. There's a couple tracks on there I like. What's something else that I would rather listen to? A lot of stuff. I'm willing to entertain suggestions, but I think for now I'm going to put the FTL soundtrack on. Problem with a lot of soundtracks is they're just too short. They're just too short. That profiler is still like totally locked up. We're just gonna have to kill the profiler somehow, or just kill Unity. Stop it! Stop profiling. Let's just kill Unity. Kill Unity. It is just like chewing through memory. That's great. Alright, so it's my garbage generation, which I thought was probably the problem when I looked at it last night. I was like, I don't think that this is just a performance issue. I think it's literally just garbage because I'm having to like new stuff on the heap every time through puzzle checking. Like, I think that's the main problem. But we're gonna look at it real quick and try to pull things out so that we don't generate garbage. Because when I go through here and check this, like I'm newing an array list and I'm like newing a tile position, and I really don't need to do that. I can just put those out here as this and just clear it every time. So I could just do this. And then I can just clear it here. Clear, I think, is what I'm looking for. And then current position can just... I don't think current position actually needs to be nude because it's never nude. It's never actually used in its state there. But I do need to clear the list. And I also need this to get cleared, so... These are just things that didn't really matter so much when I wasn't calling it potentially 1,000 times in a row. Because generally the garbage collector could handle that. So that's... In general, I should probably like try to move stuff to do that anyway, so that I'm not newing anything, but... So that gets cleared. That should be fine, because that's really just if there's a solution. The problem was really, I think, that, primarily. So, now I just need to check to make sure that that doesn't have any compiler bugs. Okay, it's fine. And then I need to check to make sure that the puzzles still... Okay, so they still get solved, so that still gets validated. Then the thing I could do is just check a 5x5 with an integer solution. Still taking a long time, which leads me to think that it's probably still generating a lot of garbage, and I just don't know where it's generating it. Like, I actually don't know whether this 5x5 is ever going to return. For all I know, this generates garbage. I have no idea. Probably find all tiles in area is generating garbage as well. right through this reference, but I don't know. It's going to be a lot of killing Unity on this thing. It's just like still allocating memory. It's like, what is it doing? What is it doing? I don't know. But like there's some point at which it just like falls off a cliff performance wise, which doesn't surprise me because it's exponential. Like if I make a 3x3 and then a 4x4, like it becomes exponential how many possible solutions there are. Okay, so it will let me find the solutions here as well. I'm looking for slow, but not like so slow that okay. About 8 times 2. Okay. So that's pretty slow. It should be slow enough to clearly see on the profiler. Without killing it. It would be really nice, I feel like, if I could just like zoom this view, but I don't think there's any way to just zoom it other than make the screen bigger. Like I can make the screen bigger, but I can't zoom it horizontally like to where I'm looking at less. I don't think. I can look between frames. See, 9 milliseconds, 18 milliseconds, 32 milliseconds. Here we go. Here's where my real time was. 500 milliseconds. So it's going down in here, and I guess it's inside of this, but why is it getting this? Why is it garbage collecting? Like, I'm not getting enough, so I'm going to have to do the deep profile to actually see it. Ah! Unity freaking GUI stuff is so buggy. Alright. So we'll try this and see. The annoying thing is like deep profile makes everything way, way worse in that way. Why is this like all gray now? Like, what is going on? Oh my gosh. Is that too much for the profiler? They really got to work on this profiler. Like, you know, I'm sitting here trying to optimize stuff, and their profiler can't handle like the amount of whatever in that frame. I don't know why, but it can't handle it. Like, I need to be able to look at this frame that took like 4 seconds, right? But for some reason the profiler freezes up. I don't know why. It's not even like recording anything. It's just not, it's not doing anything. Shouldn't be anyway. Like, the profiler's freezing up for multiple seconds when I look at that frame. Okay. Well, then we're gonna try something smaller on this exponential curve of performance degradation, and then profile that. Because I have to see like what is eating everything. And if the profiler can't actually be responsive enough to be usable, then it's like useless. Can I like look at this in a different way? Can I like look at the timeline? Or is that going to be, like, even slower? Like I said, what is so slow right now? Why is the profiler not able to handle this? Jesus. This is ridiculously bad. Like I said, they gotta work on the profiler to where whatever's going on here is not happening. Because I need it to be able to inspect what the heck is going on that is making that so slow. I can still see the spike here at least. Like, it literally takes as long as this takes, it feels like to do one frame here. It's really weird. I don't know what's going on with that. So I'm trying to figure out through all this hierarchy of what the heck is going on. Method base dot invoke. Mono method dot invoke. Okay. These are a lot of crazy things. There's down to something I recognize, which is that inspector window. Like, it is literally taking that long to, like, just twirl these things out. Draw editors. I feel like this would be way easier to figure out if I wasn't doing it in the GUI and if I just assigned it to, like, a key. But that would be somewhat difficult to do. Well, maybe not. It would be a little tricky. God, like, what is all this? Like, can somebody at Unity tell me, like, why is this call stack so deep? Like, what is it doing that it needs to go through this many layers of code? Method base invoke, mono method invoke, mono method internal invoke, inspector window on GUI, inspector window on GUI, inspector window draw editors, inspector window draw editors, inspector window draw editor. Like, why is that? And why is, like, every time I go down this stack, your profiler getting even slower? Like, the further I go down the stack, the slower it gets. And I don't know why. It's like, I'm really just trying to see where is it spending most of its work. And yet it's doing all this, and I don't know why. I don't know why. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to profile it even and figure out what's going on. This leads me to think, yeah, I really do need to set it up basically to where I can just do it through some other interface rather than the editor GUI, because, like, there's just too much stuff in the call stack. I can't even get to what I need to look at. looking at the timeline here, like this is the call stack here, I guess. If this will even let me look at it. And it's like so ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, well, I got a recursive split thing. I know that. And maybe it just hates the recursion. There must just be some degenerative thing in their thing there that just cannot handle that. So I feel like okay, that's 100 milliseconds. Can I possibly look at the timeline here? Also, like, there's so many weird just usage issues with their stuff where it's like, how am I supposed to like look at stuff if your tool doesn't like give me enough vertical resolution? Like, what am I supposed to do, you know? Like, I can up the horizontal, but like there's things that are going off the end of your like, how am I supposed to look at this stuff down here? There's no... Okay, there we go. Jesus. God forbid it was too deep to even fit there. Still almost is. I bet it is on my actual stuff somewhere here. God forbid the call stack's too deep. Like, what's in here? Like, what is this? What are all these things? The fact that there's like no good way. Oh, there we go. Alright. I need to look at like what's really spending a lot of time here. So for some reason, like, this is spending a lot of time. But I'm not really sure what's the part that's bending the most, because it looks fine. Like, what is this update scene if needed? Like, what is that? Like, why is it even doing that? Okay, so what about... Okay, so this is the one with the recursion happening. Because that's right here. literally only took 13 milliseconds to recurse through everything. Definitely is solved. Takes time, and mostly find tiles in area takes time. Find tiles in area is also recursive though, so looks like I'm spending a lot of time on array list contains. Kind of surprised that I'm spending that much time on array list contains, but anyway, let's look at the hierarchy again. Again, there's just like so many ridiculous amounts of So when it gets down to it, for some reason the audio thing is spending a lot of time. I'm not sure why that is. Why is that spending 18 milliseconds? Like, the entire thing that's finding all the solutions for the puzzle is spending less time than this audio source inspector. Why is that? Like, what is it doing? It looks like it's just doing a lot of little things, but like, what is it? What is even going on? Because there's an audio source thing here, but is it like literally like every time recalculating something with this audio source thing? What if I remove the audio source? It doesn't appear to make a difference there. Still takes a long time. Anyway. Let's look at that again. Yeah, it's just like eating memory. It always eats memory. I don't know what is going on. I get 80 milliseconds for 2 frames. Sure, this is exciting. Draw editors, draw editors, draw editor. Okay. At least that's all of it now. So spending almost all of its time in is solved, according to this. Now, why is solved calling find all tiles in area? Okay, so spending most of its time in find all tiles in this area, it says. Spending 47 milliseconds total in that. If it'll twirl down, maybe I can see what it's spending most of its time inside of that on. It's like almost like it would be better to just use the Visual Studio profiler, but I don't know whether that works here. Jesus, come on. There we go. Okay, so inside of there, it's spending all of its time on the recursion. Again, I'm like running out of room to look at a thing. At least this lets me like adjust that. Also, again, the deeper I go into this hierarchy, it's still like it's all the calls to find all tiles in the area. Okay, so it's spending a lot of time on array list contains. As it goes down the stack, for some reason it's spending a lot of time there. So I'm not sure of a great way to do that without doing array list contains. Nor can I think of any way to do this in a better way, because well, one thing I can do is at least just do it once, so I can just cache that already, and so that would be just like bool already checked p equals check tile list contains p. So I can just do that, and so then I at least don't have to do it that way. It seems like that there's an easier way to do this, but I'm not sure what. I could do it as a bool array. That actually would probably be a good idea. So if I did it as a bool array for all the tiles and when it already checked, then I wouldn't have to do this check tile list. I could just compare it against the array. I'm just trying to think of how to pass that through this stack in a better way. But would avoid using an array list and just use an array, which would probably be much faster because I really actually don't need a dynamic thing. How do I do this? I mean, I can definitely do bool checked tiles that way, but I can't. It has to be nude somewhere. It can't be nude here because I have to traverse through this with all this, so it has to get set outside of wherever this is called, which is annoying because it feels like that should get taken care of so I didn't have to worry about it when I call this. I guess I could make this call another function that does the recursion. That would probably be the best thing. So this would be like void recurse through all tiles in area. Or well, we'll just go recursive find. I don't know. Area finder. And then do I need to pass a ref in? If I pass it by a reference to a function, like does it generate garbage? It's not very helpful. So we're going to do it this way. Check tiles. So we're just basically going to do this and wrap this. So this is going to go down here into this. And instead of doing that, it's going to be recursive tile area finders gets called here. Then this is going to be bool check tiles is equal. Oops. It's equal to new bool width times height. So that should be an empty bool array. Then that should get passed into this. Y ref check tiles ref num same tiles is white. So that should get passed into there. I probably don't need P. just need X and Y. I need to just test this way, because it will be check tiles X times, what is it, X plus width times Y. So then we do that, and then we would set this, which would be check tiles X plus width times Y equals true. Then we want to pass in check tiles down the stack. Hello, Moxmo. I don't think it ran 30 million times, because even like a 5x5 was enough to lock it up. The problem is not really that the solution checker was slow so much as part of the solution checker was slow, particularly this part. And the problem was not so much that it's slow, as that for some reason it triggers the garbage collector, because it allocates too much memory, which is annoying. There's probably some way I can dodge the garbage collector that way, but I'm trying to dodge it this way, by just not allocating and not using anything weird. Hopefully array accessors don't fucking allocate garbage, but I figured array lists probably did. So right now I'm passing in an array list for a check tiled list. I actually shouldn't, well, I do need to pass it in because I need it back. Need the tile list back, so I guess I'll do this, and then I'll just do something real quick that builds the tile list off of that. So how does that go? That would just basically just be for each bool be in check tiles if b check tile list dot add what do I call it? What do I call it? So I created like a, okay, tile position, so new tile position. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this a little differently. Okay, so tile position, p to add equals new tile position. Actually, I don't even know if I need to do that. Equals, the problem is I can't do that because I don't know the X and the Y, unfortunately. Like, I can't figure out the X and the Y from that, so I'm gonna have to, like, gosh darn it. Basically just trying to dodge the need to rewrite the rest of the code around the fact that I've internally changed this to use a bool array instead of a list. I could do it though. I'm just trying to think. let me just pop back up into this and see what I'm using it with, because when I do is solved, I'm clearing this list, then I'm finding all the tiles in the area, and then I'm going for each position in the list. I'm checking those spots on the checking those spots on the solution thing. Yeah, well, you know, it's just 33 million. It's fine. So I'm going to try this and try to do this anyway. I can't use X, though. I just realized that. I need to use IX and IY. Because I already use X and Y in here. I guess I can overwrite them. It really doesn't matter, but... So we're just going to do it this way for now. We're going to make sure that I actually wrote that correctly, because I probably didn't. Okay. B. Oh, I don't need B. Actually, I do. But B is going to be check tiles IX plus width times IY. Okay. Sadly, I don't know math, so it's pretty hard for me to figure out like the number of iterations of something like that, because I don't know what the heck I'm even doing. Okay, so I'm getting an out of range check. So this must be usually it's just X plus width times Y. Let me check the first thing here. Why is that out of range? Why is that out of range? I don't understand. When I create the arrays here, I do it as a new bool width times height, so that's getting passed in here. It's a ref. Is there a reason why that should give me like a thing? I don't understand. Why is that out of range? I don't understand why that's out of range. I just newed it here. Then I just passed it in here, unless this is getting called from somewhere else. It shouldn't be getting called from anywhere else. So, why is it? Why is it out of range? Am I gonna have to like make this something outside of that context? shouldn't be a problem, because it should pass down the stack. This is making me mad. Like, it's really aggravating when this kind of stuff doesn't work, and there's no apparent reason I can see why it doesn't work. Anyway, let me go into the debugger and see, like, what the heck is going on with that. $33 million iterations. I'm not getting 33 million null references, so I'm just getting 30. So that's unusual. I got those, and those go, and they call the solve thing, but that's not the problem. The problem is, like, right here. For some reason, like, I need to see what the state is of that array. Because it should be a new empty array at this point. So it is. The question is, hold on. So x is what? 1 and y is 0. Okay. Like, when am I getting this? Out of range exception, like, what's going on? I just saw like a -1. Why is there a -1x? Why the heck is there a -1x getting passed in here? Where the heck did I come from? Oh, oh god. Oh my god. No, it's... I just figured out what it is. I do my bounds check right here. So I'm doing this before the bounds check, because when I go down here, I just go ahead and dumb call everything. Like, I call the neighbor tiles, so I called the one to the left, I called the one to the right, and then I do a bounds check after the fact, so I didn't have to do a bounds check on every single one of these. I should have probably just done the bounds check here, but I kind of just decided, well, I'll just call it, and then... So that's the problem, is my bounds check, it happens right here. And so, like, if x is less than 0, then that will short circuit and it won't check this. But the problem is I'm caching this right here before that, so, like, it's not necessarily getting bounds checked anyway. So that's the problem. Dumb problem, but problem. So the simplest, dumbest way to fix this would be to just not cache that and just do this. Because then I have my bounds check. There's probably some easier way to do the bounds check here, but yeah, I don't know. But that should fix the problem of it going out of range, because it's going out of range because it was going out of range. It's going out of range negatively because it was setting an index to a negative number. Okay. So now the solver doesn't work. So there's that. But on the plus side, it also doesn't crash, so... It's not validating solutions now, so... I just need to see what's going on here with this. If I pass all that down into here, check tiles should be false. And then we're checking to make sure that check tiles is false. Then we add it, and then we set it to true. And then we go down here, and we check everything else, and then pass those down the stack some more. And the problem is probably this is not right somehow, but I don't know how. Problem is that I didn't type this right, and that I have X and Y in the scope also. So that's pretty dumb, but that was the problem. So now the solver should work again, theoretically. I don't know whether it's faster. In fact, it could be slower. So that's a 5x5. Normally that would just lock up forever, so if it actually finds a solution after some sort of amount of time, then that's great. It probably won't, though. It's probably just going to lock up. I'm going to have to kill Unity. I'll give it a little bit longer. Yeah, the dumb problems are easy to fix when I find them. They just are dumb. Anyway, I'm hoping that that is faster. It may not actually be faster, but it doesn't seem like it made enough of a difference to make this actually like viable. Is there some technical reason I should spread it over multiple frames? Because if it never terminates, then why does it matter, right? Like, it's not going to terminate just because you spread it over multiple frames. Because the problem is it's just not terminating. Like, I've let it... I in the past, I let it sit there, and it's just sit there so long that Unity just decides that it's frozen, and it gives me the error report screen and closes Unity out. So my only guess was that it had to do with the garbage collector getting triggered, because the more that I have, like, the more the bigger the panel is, the more garbage would get generated, right? And so it might generate like 43 megs of stack, or not of stack, of heap allocations to run it, right? Which, to my mind, who cares, because it's 45 megabytes and I've got a lot of memory, so whatever. Just do the thing. But Unity probably at some point is like, that's too much memory, we gotta trigger the garbage collector, and then it goes through and it's like every single frame trying to free up memory or something. I don't know. Yeah, I can. It works on smaller puzzles. I've already tested that. The problem is that it doesn't work on larger puzzles. Like, if I do a 3x3 and I put, like, for example, if I do this, it works, right? It finds the solution. And if I set it to the actual proper thing, then it will find the solutions there too, right? Like, I've got a little thing here that says how many solutions that it found. It found 16. If I change this to a 2, it'll find 16 there. If I did it here, probably different number of solutions. Like 4, it finds the solutions. So it's like it's not a problem on a small panel. It works. And if there's no solutions, it finds no solutions. There is, like, if I do 4x4, it's slow, but it still works. I guess if I leave it like this, it shows me how many it finds. 6, 5, 5, 3, 6. Whereas if I make it 5x4, I don't know if it still works. Nope, it still works at 5x4. But the problem is it just grows exponentially, right? It also depends on what the kind of solution is. Like, if I set it to one of these where it's just like a set solution, and it's not actually using the like these kind of mechanics. Like, if I go in and set this to these guys, then it gets much slower, right? Like, those guys in particular are really slow. So I don't really know what the problem is. I don't, like, it could be the number of solutions is part of the issue. So I could just try capping that to see. To the end, yeah. I could try capping, I guess, the part where it adds the solutions, because I still haven't done that. and maybe it just will be that, because maybe there's just too many solutions, and so it adds too many things to the array. Okay, so we got a solution list, so I basically need to do like this, right? When I add something here, I need to go if solution list dot, I think it's size, I'm not sure, array list dot size. The annoying thing is, like, other languages have this array list, so okay, so size, yeah, I'm not sure if it's caps or not. Okay. So if the size is more than, like, let's just say it's more than like 100 to start with, then we just go ahead and, well, it's going to return anyway, right? Yeah, it does seem like the red dots thing is slow too, so but let's see. Yeah, it's got to be at the start because of the recursion thing. I can't do it here because it needs to, like, go here and then, like, oh nope, there's too many, and then, like, just go through and pop back out, basically, of everything. So let's just say that. Let's say for sake of argument, if you find 100 solutions, then that's fine. For some reason, Unity has, like, froze, and I don't know why. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, it'll keep running a bit, right? But I guess I can check as well. I could check here. I could do like this. Like that, maybe. Is that better? Because otherwise it's just gonna go through and call, and then it'll still, like, whenever it gets to this point, it should bail out. Okay. Well, I was just thinking, because some of these are gonna, like, bail, right? Some of them are gonna be here, and then they're gonna go through and call this, and then that's gonna go in, and some of them are gonna be, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably good enough. Does not contain a definition for size. Well, that could be the problem. This is the problem. Gosh darn it. The problem is stupid Visual Studio. This is why I hate Visual Studio. It's like locking up Unity. Because it's like, oh, there was an error. You can't work on the thing. So like, because Visual Studio also like gives me all the errors. And then they have this thing in there where when I fix the error in the code, it like automatically recompiles it and it tells me whether or not it's like valid. Which would be great, except for the fact that I forget it's doing that, and so the thing just stops responding, and there's like no indication of anything. Anyway, so size doesn't exist. It's probably, I think it's this. It's probably not a method. It's probably just like a... Okay. I thought it was that, but this may not even be like C#, this thing. It's not. Count. Okay, it's count. Count. I don't know if I have to call it as a function or what. Okay, it's not. It's not a function. So let's see whether that works. I'm getting null references for some reason. Okay, the solution checker seems to work, so that's good, at least. It's always good if it still works. In this case, it seems very much so that that was the problem. Which is very surprising, but it seems very much so that the fact was that there were too many solutions. Because like now it can figure out that, right? And show me a solution, right? So capping them there seems to have helped on that. Let's see when I get to like this, whether it gets ridiculous. If it dies from something else. Okay, 'cause it seems like it is dying from something else now. But it shouldn't matter, right? Because it's going to cap out. Like it's gonna cap out when it finds 100 solutions and like just abort, right? Like if it has more than 100 solutions, then it should abort. But the issue is it also has a lot. Yeah, but this already found 100 solutions on a panel that it successfully found, right? So it did. It checked 100 solutions that quickly, right? The issue is like for the size of the panel, the more solutions is more, right? More is more. So in other words, if I set it to like, if it's got more than 10, then it's going to check less, right? So if the problem is in the checking, it does have to check, you're right, every single one. Yeah, you're right. Because it's also how many are not right? Because it has to check for every single combination. Even if it's not right. There's no real way around that it's got to check every combination. But all I'll say is, as far as I can tell, it's not just a matter of speed, it's just a matter of something is going wrong, and I think it has to do with Unity's garbage collector that is just putting it in a state where it's stuck. Like, it's not just that the thing's slow. Like, if I was not using like a managed language, then I think that it would still complete. It would just take a while. Because it just seems really ridiculous to me for something to take like 2 seconds and then suddenly to just lock for like infinity, right? Just because I added like one more thing. Like, I know that it's exponential, so it gets a lot more, but it shouldn't like lock. It should take like 10 times as long or something, not like, I don't know, whatever. Humans aren't good at exponentials, so I'm probably just talking out my butt in that way. So it still doesn't like a 5x5 even when it's just that kind of thing, which is weird. Like, that's what's strange to me, is that when I have a 5x5 there, it still takes so long. Even when all it's doing is just comparing. Like, all it's doing is just a straight compare to make sure that these are the same, right? Like, that's all this is doing, is just going through and checking to see, are the states of them the same? The question I wonder, if I compare a array, yeah, I should be able to wait like 32. Like, you know, I had one that would take like 10 seconds, right? And it's like, okay, I make it one wider, that's like 4 more tiles, so I should have been able to wait like 3 or 4 minutes and it'd be done, but instead, like, I left and came back, and I mean, it's possible Unity just locked it up, decided it was locked up after like 2 minutes or something, but it's still interesting. If I can't do this, it's fine. It's not the end of the world to not have the brute force solver thing, but it seemed like it was something that was not going to be the end of the world to check every possible thing, but maybe it just is. To check to see like whether the panel's solvable. Maybe it's just not viable past a certain size of panel. That's the thing I wonder about. Because these guys seem so much slower too. I do wonder whether it gets slower per dot. It's interesting that it finds some very unorthodox solutions sometimes. See, because that's not going to find a solution, which is interesting. It's interesting that, like, it finds 10 solutions there. Did I bail out on 10 solutions? Okay, I guess I did. Whereas the other way, it took longer to find no solutions. So the easiest thing I could do would be to just keep track of just the number of recursions, like the number of things that I check, and just say if this goes past this amount, then just say this is going to take too long. That's the only thing I can think of, is to just take let's see, I is the index. I guess I would need a ref to an integer that's like iterations. What's like I don't know. Let's say it's more than like 65,000 or something. All right. And so then we'll just do like int num iterations. What the heck? What the heck just happened? Oh, I control tabbed over. I need to change it to where control tab doesn't do that. Yeah, it's, I know, I'm just dumb. So then we're gonna go through here, and then this would be num iterations plus plus. And then so that just puts a cap on how many, like, iterations. It's not really iterations, but you know what I mean. If x is less than 0 or more than equal to the list count. What? Oh, this should be a ref int. So that means in this case, yeah, it won't find a solution and it'll just early out. So let's try it at like 200,000 iterations. So I just want to see like how many iterations it can stand to do before it just like totally craps the bed. Okay, it can stand to do that many. It was like 4 seconds. It didn't find any solutions though. Like I'll definitely want to have like something that would give me a warning at least if it goes past the number of iterations, but let's see if it can do like twice that many. What is it? There's something in my mouse. Okay, so it did twice that many, it just didn't find any solutions. I'm just basically they're just trying to test like if it'll let me wait, right, and actually return at some point, then I'm okay with like it taking a little while if it will terminate. Okay, so that terminated. It still didn't find any solutions, but so now the question is, if I look at this panel and try to find solutions, does it find a solution? Because yeah, that has a lot more. It still didn't. It couldn't find a solution, which is fine. But it is annoying because it's like it's literally like the entire reason I wanted to do the thing was to test these panels. And really, for most panels that are smaller than 5x5, I don't really need a solution tester. Because I can figure out most of the solutions. Like, I can probably figure out 10 solutions to this. It's actually kind of an interesting panel, though. I wonder if this is solvable. Like, if I move this guy up here, is there a solution to that? There is a solution. Interesting. Of course there is. Of course there is. I was just thinking of like that. That like, if I have to separate that and that. Interesting. That's just kind of an interesting panel anyway. To do like... Well, that's annoying. I said it would be nice if I could like shift the solution down. Was it this that I had? No, it wasn't that. I don't think. I think it was... Maybe it was that. Is this solvable? Just didn't find any solutions, so I'm guessing it's not solvable. Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, brute force solver seems to be a bust here. There's probably some smarter way to do it that prevents it from getting that out of hand, but I would have to write something that knew how to solve the puzzles more. That's like, well, this has got to be connected with something else, so let me try connecting it with everything and do it that way instead of just a brute force thing, which is kind of annoying because I thought maybe it would, like, work. But for small puzzles, it will tell me whether or not something's solvable, which is interesting. That's solvable. Wonder if that's solvable any other way, though. Yeah, you can solve it that way, too. So do that way, or that way, or that way. Yeah, like the smart solver would be nice, but that's alright. It's alright. I've got a thing in there. I should probably, let me do it. To do, make this report back that it spent too many iterations. I actually don't really care about the solution count there so much as I do the number of iterations through, because it actually doesn't have much to do with the solution count. It has to do with how many times is solved gets called, alright? So I'm just going to change it to number of iterations there and not worry about the solution count list being bigger than a certain size. It's like, if it finds 100 solutions in that amount of time, then sure, great, whatever, right? Like, if it can find 78 solutions really quickly, then sure, great. It can tell me, this panel has 78 solutions. It's a lot of solutions. It's a lot more than I would have thought it had. And then it can give me weird solutions. So should I... The question is, should I have like a little thing that lets me go like next solution, previous solution, instead of just this? Thoughts, Mokismo? Thoughts? Because I kind of already find myself tempted to just like hit the button there, and I don't know that it's that helpful to me. Like, because then I just want to hit this thing because that's what I spent time on. Yeah, I guess you're right. I probably should make the huge lists avoidance. So, what's a reasonable list size, I guess? I don't know, 250 solutions. Like, we don't want more than 250 solutions on a list. Still wondering like what I can even do to like ensure that as a solution. Yeah. It's probably not good. I mean, they're just... Well, I guess they're integer arrays, so they could be smaller, because I really only need to store them as bools, but... I think. I might be storing them as bools. No, I'm storing them as integer arrays, so... If there were bool arrays, C# actually does bit packing on bool arrays, so they wouldn't take up much memory. Even if I had thousands of them, right? Because it would just be, yeah, it wouldn't be too many bits. But yeah, it is probably like good to see how many solutions it has. I should probably have it cache the current state. I thought I did at some point. Oh, I did. Yeah, I did have it cache the current state because I kind of didn't want. Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay. It's just because it had not reloaded. Okay. Okay. I guess I got a clone because it's probably just because it's a reference type. What? Cannot implicitly convert object to int array. Okay. Let me just cast it as an int array, I guess. Okay, there we go. So I just kind of, because since I'm iterating through all the states and stuff, it's just I kind of wanted to be able to like find the number of solutions there. 100 plus. Yeah, I could make it say 100 plus, right? But I'd have to return some flags and stuff, basically, out of all this, to have more information, basically. Because then it could say 100 plus solutions found. It could say that it hit the max number of recursions and therefore or max number of checks, and so it decided to abort or whatever. But it's not really a big deal because it's not like what I'm considering a main tool in my toolbox of design. It was just something that I thought about because of you pointing out that, which I still haven't fixed, that these other panels had like several more solutions than I thought they had, and some of them were kind of weird, and I wanted to fix that. Anyway, so I have like 1 hour before I gotta leave. Well, a little bit more, an hour 15 minutes before I have to leave for work. I am going to take a very quick break, and then I will actually do some puzzle designing. I'm probably going to clean up these puzzles, but I might design some new ones. We'll see. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I really need to get like just a second monitor so I don't have to like look over here. So I'm going to look over here because my second monitor is actually a TV that's over there. So if I want to look over there and see that the stream's still up or whatever, like I have to look at the TV, which is over there. So I only have like the one monitor here. And I have the phone for looking at chat, so. I'm not going to worry about the solution finder right now because I can still do my manual solution finding process of just playing the game to find solutions. So I know this one only had one, which is that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did I break the solution checker? Oh, no. I just broke this puzzle. Because the solution checker doesn't ignore locked tiles still, so that's the problem. Anyway, so that's fine. So that one only had one. This one had, I believe, some weird degenerate ones, because the one I liked was this, I think. No, that's not it. The one I liked was this, I think. Oh, I can't remember now. Yeah. So I was thinking. So that's a fine solution. I don't mind that solution. I don't know. Let me look on Twitter. Yeah, 1531. So you said this one had 3 solutions. I am actually going to go in here and turn off the auto screenshot thing real quick. So that I can actually take screenshots and know that those are the proper ones. I should probably just make a thing where if I hit the button, it goes into like a manual screenshots, and then there's also the auto screenshots folder, and so that I have separate things, but it's fine for the purposes of this. So I just want to take screens of the solutions. I guess I don't have to do that. I guess I could just duplicate the panel 3 times, since we know it's 3. But, anyway. So that's one solution. Now we're talking about apart from inversions, so. Well, that can't be one. I should be able to do something with this, but not. That feels like an interesting thing that I could do, though, but I guess that's basically this, isn't it? So I can't do that, because then that middle part gets screwed up. That doesn't work either. Let's see. I don't think that that's the one I just did, but I don't know. Let me go look. I should probably set up a shortcut to these solutions, but... Okay, so that versus that. Is just an inverted rotation, it looks like. Yeah, that's just an inverted rotation. So that's fine. I'm fine with those both being solutions. Like it's a rotation and then an inversion. So it counts as the same solution. At least to me it does. That's the only thing that makes stuff like this hard, is like finding degenerate solutions is actually non-trivial. Like if I'm like, are all the solutions to this equally valid and interesting, or are some of them stupid? Excuse me. I feel like no matter what, this middle tile has to be on, because I have to separate these groups somehow. I guess I can combine them that way, and that's feasible, but I really don't know. Looks almost right, but somewhere there's a problem. It's right here. Which is kind of interesting. Okay. Okay, so that's a weird one there. Seems a little different than... I hate the photo viewer. Like, it's so bad because it like doesn't update when you add like a new photo to the folder. Like it doesn't update the list. It's like... Okay, so that's... Yeah, I already figured that one out. That there was that variation that you could do, where I can do that or that, and I can do that or that. So that's two different solutions. And so you can do all rotations of that. I just don't know if there's any way for me to enforce that doesn't just break the puzzle a little bit weird. The third is a fish? What are you talking about? A fish? A fish? Like it looks like a fish? Okay. So like that, you mean? Oh. Alright, so those are the three solutions to that panel that are actually, like, different. Is that one, and that one, right? So, those are all okay. I do wonder though if I took this panel and did this to it, what it would do. If I did instead of locking these, if I locked these ones. Only I could find all the solutions. Anyway. Okay, that's easy, isn't it? So that's not particularly exciting. If I set the starting state for those to be different, then maybe it's interesting, though. Can't do that, so it feels like it's got to be like that. This is the one with the 3 in it, though. So what can I do with that? That's got to be lit. Which means that that's got to be lit. Which means that that's got to be unlit. This might be impossible. Huh. Yeah, you can fill in the fish tail, that's true. Yeah. It's not different enough to really count, right? Is this solvable? People want to know. I guess I can do it this way where I connect this and then I make sure that there's only two in that area, but I don't know how I can do that. So I can do 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. Problem is that's only got 1. And it's got too many now. I don't know if this is possible. How do you know it's not possible? How do you know? How do you know you're just not clever enough? You're not just not clever. How do you know that you're clever enough? That almost works except for these guys right on the end. Like If I don't have those guys, then that works. But if I don't have those guys, what else can I do is the question. Try emptying 2, 2. What? Middle has to connect one way, filling around it, and the edge can't connect. Okay. Yeah, the edge can't connect because of that. So you were saying if I try emptying this is what you meant. Is that what you meant? I'm not sure what you mean. 2, 2 is this. Unless you're counting it as 0 indexed. In which case that's that, right? But I guess that's what you meant. I guess you meant the middle tile. In that I can't do it the inverse either, right? Interesting. Interesting. So if they're all off, then like it's pretty easy to do because you just do this. Just because it's just the same as this, essentially. Which is kind of interesting, actually, in that way. Like that I can enforce it the same kind of solution by making them like all on. Like if I set the starting state to, excuse me, to these being all on, then like it's the same as this, right? Let's see where. Circled tiles? What's circled? You mean the blank ones? I'm not sure what you mean. You mean the oh. Oh, okay, you didn't circle them. Yeah, those can't be connected to anything. Well, the left one's pretty obvious, the right one's less obvious to me. I guess you're saying if I took this one and connected it with that one, it can't be connected to this one. So I can't do that because then I can't put it up here, and then that can't be connected because there's that there as well. So, yeah. Oh, okay. okay. Yeah, it's not solvable. Whereas this is solvable because it's solvable. Like it's the same as this, right? Like I can do the fish even. Question is, if I go look at my solutions here, 2 on, 2 off, 2 on, 3 on, and 1 off, and all 4 on. So all 4 on was the one that I had thought of, but if I just lock those, then you can solve it this way. Like, you could solve it that way, but you can solve it this way too. If I just lock 3 on, then I know it's solvable, and if I just lock 2 on diagonally, I know it's solvable. So that means this is solvable a few ways. Not that way, though. Not that way, though. It's kind of an ugly, weird solution. Oh, the diagonal only be solved by fish. It's cool, yeah, if it can only be solved by the fish. I don't know that it can only be solved by the fish, though. Let's see. How does that work? Let me make it the same fish as below, because that's easier for me. Like, there should probably be other solutions to this, because I'm not constraining it. Like, you can probably solve it. You can solve it that way. It's kind of an inverse fish, though. That might be a better puzzle than this one, though. Like, if there's only one solution, then it might be better than that one. Sadly, I can't check that. Can't check if there's only one solution. Center has to connect 2 of the middle 4. Does it? I guess you're right. Almost wondering if that's wrong, though. Well, you're right. It's connecting one or the other, right? Because it's next to 2 black dots and 2 white dots. That's an interesting thing to figure out, though. Like, if you're going to take a higher level rule about these things, is like, if there's this structure and these are locked like this one, it has to be connected to that one, and that one has to be connected to that one. There's like, I mean, it's obviously the case, right? But like, one or the other has to be connected to that no matter what is interesting. So that's inverse fish. I like the fish, though. There's no way I can enforce that fish. But that kind of needs to replace this one, instead of, like, I can't have this and that because you can use the same solution on both. I mean, I could, but like, if the player's clever enough, then maybe that's fine, but it's certainly possible to do puzzles where it's like they're the same solution and it works on a bunch of different things, but because all the dots are the same, I'm just locking tiles, it feels like it makes more sense to lock these guys and just do that. I don't know what you think, Moxmo, whether I should put this one in place of this one. Anyway, I'm gonna copy that and save it so that I at least have that puzzle saved. For now, we'll stick it in here in between these, even though it's like sub. Let me see what was the weird solution on there. Hold on. Okay, so there's fish. Yeah, this is kind of a weird one. I like this one, and I like this one. I can't just lock those, because like I said, then you could solve it that way. So how can I do that? Let me try to find a variation on this guy that enforces this solution, but is not, like, degenerate. So I feel like that's possible. I feel like it should be possible to do that. It's like, I can't just lock these guys on, because then it can be solved other ways, like this way. If I lock the corners, the question would be, can it still be solved? Because I think it can still be solved this way, because those connect as well. So it can't be that, even though, like, I can totally I've already lost my solution that I was aiming for. So I'm aiming for this. And that. And I don't want to lock too many tiles, because, you know, in, like, the crazy case, if I'm like, well, we lock all of these, then it's like, there's so few things to do, then the puzzle just kind of becomes trivial, right? Well, you just have to figure out the 2 tiles to toggle. Now, if I lock that, then what do I get? Solve it that way, but that's just to inverse the one over there. And that exact same thing could be probably done this way too. Oops. If I lock those, like, I can do it this way, right? Yeah. I wonder what other solutions there are here. Is that the only solution there? By locking those corners? Is to solve it, this way. I guess I can solve it that way or the other way, which are both basically inverses. Like, that's fine. Like, I'm not sure that's, I don't think that's solvable any other way. I can't do that because the middle would have to be connected. If I connect the middle here, then that's not going to work because I got this going on. That doesn't work because then I got those two, so yeah, I'm pretty much stuck with one or the other of those. It's either that, or what was the other one? Do it this way. So I don't know which of between those is better. That has two solutions. This has one, right? Like this you can only do this way. But it also maybe feels more prescriptive because the four tiles are in the middle, and this one they're not. And so it feels like less prescriptive for some reason. But I really don't think there's anything else I can do here. I don't think so. Yeah. So that's interesting. And this one's fish guy. So now Nazi swirl. Draw your swastikas. Okay, so this guy had a few solutions, I believe. This one was the one with the most degenerate ones. You said, I believe that this had 5 solutions. Yeah, you said it had 5. So let's look at what they all are. There's only 2 things constrained here, right? So obviously I can do one this way. Well, no, because there's less guys. That doesn't work because I gotta connect. So I can't do that. Can do that. Except for this guy is a problem. So that would work if I took out 2 more. But then there might be too many solutions at that point. There might be even more solutions. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try taking out those guys. But I think that that's going to have like more solutions. Oh shoot. I guess I need to do like this and pull this over here. Then go here, then paste these. Okay. is if I can do like, I'm dropping frames. If I can do like less dots and less solutions, then that's nice, right? So it looks like that's kind of it. Yeah, there's that one too. So that's kind of interesting, because it isolates those into like groups vertically. I'm just wondering, so if I do this, so I can do that when I do that. It's just the same solution, it's just there's this extra bit on that. So on this one, there's not an extra bit though. Like it has to be that way. Why does the other one get the extra bit? Like, why does this get this extra bit? I don't know why that gets the extra bit and the other one doesn't. I guess because it would be the equivalent of doing this. Wait a second. Hold on. So it feels like those are the same. I guess it's the equivalent of that. So that's what I'm talking about with the extra bit versus, yeah, so this still has the extra bit, can be there. Oh. Can also be there. So if I put this here instead of there, then that works. Then this probably also works. Feels like it's really hard to do like a panel that has one in the middle without it being really prescriptive. I really don't know. Oh, you mean the thing that I was doing earlier where I was doing that? Yeah, there were inversions. I know that, but I wasn't too happy with it because it was not really that forced in any way. I guess I probably should have kept track of what it was anyway instead of just erasing it just now, but I think it was like this and this. I'm pretty sure this is impossible. I don't think there's any way this is doable because this has to be connected across the middle, and those have to be connected across the middle too, so there's no way to do that. The only way to do that would be if it was happy with the diagonal touching there, and it's not. Yeah, if I put a dot in the middle, like, it can't be symmetrical. It's got to be like the dot has to go, one dot has to go somewhere else, right? So I think this is impossible too, isn't it? Well, I can, no. So I can make that happy, but not this. That's really easy. If I like unlock these guys, then symmetrical horizontally. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Like, you could do it this way, right? And then that's symmetrical horizontally, right? I feel like I might have found all of the things that were easy to find in with having very few things, but it did feel like this shape was sort of interesting just because of how it worked. Huh. That's an interesting thing to think about. Like if I just lock all these, then you have to go through the middle, right? You don't have to do that. I could do something like this, though, where I have to do it like this. I'm trying to think of even how I could do that, though. The only way I can think to do it is with the multicolored ones, because if I do, like, this way, I think they'll probably have to be, like, you could probably still connect them this way, though. So that doesn't really enforce what I was thinking about, which was like this. So unless I just make them all like locked off, but then that constrains what you can do so damn much that there's not really much to it as a puzzle. Do that and then it works, right? If I do that, if I lock these off, then those have to be off. If I lock like maybe like this, so like obviously still can be solved that way. Unlock that and unlock that. I'm just wondering if it can then be solved some weird way. Can be solved that way, so that's fine. Now if I just do that, then that's the question. So I haven't done much with these. My initial thoughts on doing the multicolored ones was that you'd have to keep the colors separate, but it's possible that combining them is better, and this seems like a case where it's better. I think that's the only solution there. I'm just wondering if I can remove any more constraints and it still be the only solution. Like if I remove this constraint, then I feel like I can do that. You start to get weird ones when you remove that. Forget what my constraints were that I just removed. Didn't I remove these guys? Or was it not those guys that I removed? Was it this? Bottom was under my mouse. Okay, I don't remember what my what I had locked before. I think maybe it was this. I think maybe it was that. Because I'm not sure. I think the only way that's doable is. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's an asymmetrical thing. I only just made it asymmetrical to see if the solution still held, like if it still had to be done this way. I know that works that way, but I really don't know if there's any alternate solutions. I guess there are. I guess there's that. That's the only alternate one. So if I keep that locked, then it has to be like this. But it's also 6 locked tiles, and it just feels like a lot of locked tiles. I'm just gonna save that one. Anyway. Even though I haven't done any of these 2-color ones. Oops, I didn't need to be that. I needed to be a duplicate one, I think. So I think that and that were different. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna pull that off. And then put that in there as a duplicate. Much longer before I have to leave, so I was fiddling with this guy is what I was fiddling with initially. Because I kind of liked this whole nonsense. Just trying to think of. Well, I guess I kind of have one that requires something like that. This one does. Yeah, that requires that already, so. It's not quite the same, but it's similar. It's a similar weird thing where it has to be connected in a weird way. Didn't that one only have one solution? Okay, so yeah, it did. So this guy, I don't remember. I think this guy is still the one that had a lot of solutions, though. we still haven't figured a way to remove solutions on it. Because this one was the one that I was thinking. This, I think, wasn't it? Oh, that doesn't work. Yeah, this one we were thinking. The solution I was thinking of that I thought was cool was this one. So probably the way to enforce that is to first I gotta set this to where it's the same as that one. Is I probably need to lock these ones to all be on. That's the only way I can think to do that. But that's like so many constraints, I don't like it. If I unlock the corners, then I can just do this, right? No, I guess I can't. I can't connect there because that would like connect to that too. But I can do this. But then that isolates that, so that's no good. So I think maybe that is the only thing I can do is the diagonal thing there. I think that might be the way to force that on that one, is to lock those instead of the two diagonal corners. I'm not sure if there's other ways to force that, but seems good enough, seems interesting enough. I feel like I just overwrote a puzzle that I was not meaning to overwrite, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't. So that one basically replaces this one. I need to like organize these a little better. And let's pull this guy off because it's totally different. Like, look at this mess. Like, this is all my just like trying out puzzles stuff. It's like I've got all these puzzles that are outside of like the game area, and they're totally jumbled up and disorganized, and it's like I don't have any way that's like, this is a good one, this one's not a good one, which is fine. It just means that I have to like do a auditing pass later where I go through and am like, this one was the good one. So I think this one's actually more of a replacement for that one. So I'm just gonna do it this way on this row where I've got like let me delete this. I've got the like newest one on top and then an older one below it. Because I know I like this row. Okay, so this and this are like literally the same puzzle. I don't even know why they're here. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. This one I think requires the fish, doesn't it? Which I think I liked better than that. I don't know what this one is. I don't remember what this is. Is this the one that's like supposed to be like this? No. What is this one? I don't know what this is. What is this here? I got too many puzzles that all look the same. But I like this one. I like this one. I don't know what this is. I don't remember this. I think this is one that I was like just working on. So we'll just pull that out here. And for some reason I've got like two that are the same thing. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, the starting state of one is supposed to be different. It's just not in its starting state, it seemed like. So that's that. Yeah, that's a problem, is like that the starting state doesn't get reset. You're sorry. Why are you sorry? What is this? Is this a degenerate for the one that I felt like enforced staying? Yeah, it's a weird degenerate, isn't it? Shoot. I don't like to lock more than like 4 tiles. Like if I start locking like 6 tiles, then it's like, it feels like I'm just constraining it for the sake of constraining it, and that feels a little too me imposing my will as the designer on the game to be a certain way. Because if I then say, well, I don't want that, so let's lock it to where it's like this, right? Then it starts just being, okay, well, these guys have got to be connected to each other, and that's got to be connected, so I guess that, right? Like it starts to be very prescriptive. I don't really like that. So that one didn't work. I can't think of anything else to do. I'm gonna leave it like it is for now. And I guess we'll come back to it maybe, but it's okay. It's okay. Even if it's not perfect, it's fine. But yeah, I gotta go. Off to work. Ugh. Shoot. I get uncomfortable in this chair. What was I gonna say? I think Mogismo's the only one watching. Are you the only one watching, Mogismo? Oh, there's some other people watching. Anyway, so thanks for joining me. Hope you had a good time. Unfortunately, as much fun as this is, it doesn't pay the bills. I have a Patreon if you would like to support me. There's a link. It's at the bottom of the screen there. But I imagine that gets ignored anyway, so post that in the chat. Even if you just, like, give me $1 a month, like, for this. Like, that's not much. If I had, like, a bunch of people do that, I could do this full-time. But anyway, I don't want to shill, or not shill really, but like plead for money too much. But at the very least, do follow the blog for updates on development of the game, and of course follow the channel too, because that's like more actually what I'm working on. You get to see, but I do write about some things that I don't like necessarily stream. I think that's about it. Follow me on Twitter, of course. Anyway, I will see you all around, and thank you very much for joining me today.